I'm recording this conversation just for quality assurance. And let me share my screen so that we can go really quickly over the format and then move on to your questions. All right?
Good.
Okay, I'm just finding the learning template. Okay. 1 second. Okay, let me share my screen now. Great. Can you remind me of your email address, please?
Sure. It's lowercase letters, and it's just DRMIKEDCOOK.
EO.
No, C.
Oh, okay, cool.
@gmail.com.
Awesome. Great. So first question is, how is your progress coming along with the program?
I have just one. That last project finished.
Okay, which was which one?
Data wrangling.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to turn that in tomorrow.
That's amazing. That you're super ahead of schedule. That's great. So you're done with A/B test results. You're done with data analysis. Investigate a data set. That's great. That's great. Okay. So I'm going to write here just like super ahead of schedule in the super ahead of schedule. Smiley face. All right. Are there changes which make in your learning plan then?
Well, there's one particular issue that I'm real worried about. So,
all right.
My month ends on the 19th, the
Okay.
18th, 19th. And I think I'll finish the class tomorrow. I think I'll finish the project tomorrow.
All right.
And I've written a letter to the billing people and asked them this. So if I turn in the final project tomorrow, and that's all I have left, and then it comes back and I have to redo it, will I be given the opportunity to finish it up without paying for another month?
Oh, that's a good question. And you say you already emailed support?
I emailed. Yeah, I haven't heard anything back though.
But you at least got a ticket or something, a support ticket?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, because today is the 5th thing, and you're talking about data. Okay, you're just missing one more project, data visualization course. I think it's a tough question, but I mean, it's not up to me, so it doesn't matter what I believe. But I'm going to ask my learning technologist. But I think he's going to say that you need to email support, and let's wait for them. But you at least should receive an email as soon as you send the email saying that we got your email. This is your support ticket, and we'll get back to you at least.
All right.
But even if you haven't, I can email them as well on your behalf, and let's see who gets an answer first.
I'll send you a note after we finish here. I'll send you a message, and I'll send another message to them. So
yeah, and then we can follow it up. Each of us on our end. Okay.
I turn in the projects, and sometimes it comes back and says it's passed.
Okay.
Sometimes it comes back with comments and asks me to resubmit it.
All right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So what I'm worried about is if let's say if I turn it in tomorrow and it comes back that I need to resubmit it, but my time's run out. That's what I'm.
Okay, I understand. Oh, but you're thinking of submitting this one, the Wrangler analyze data, and also data visualization before the.
I've done the data visualization.
Oh, you're done with that. So this is your last project.
Yeah.
I understand. Oh, in that case, I mean, it seems something. Yeah, it depends on them. I mean, I would say that as soon as you have submitted it, but maybe they say you need to have it completed. So I don't know. But yeah, do that. Give me the message, and I'll send it. Of course.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. All right. So I'm going to write here. No changes, but here I will follow up with asking about projects submit and of course.
Yeah, resubmit. So I'll submit it before the time, but the question is it resubmit? Mm-hmm.
All right, and course completion.
Good, thank you.
To remember. All right, so let's move on to what can I help you with today?
So a particular thing that I was working through a problem and I was able to hack my way through it, but it didn't seem like a very good way to do it. So
Okay.
I'm having trouble when I have a data, I have a variable, and I want to create a new variable using those values.
Okay. You sent me an example, right?
Right, and I was able to do it. You sent me a link before, and I was able to do it when I'm using information from just one variable. And
Okay.
so I've been able to do that fine. But on this one, there's 4 different variables. So basically, you have 4 dummy variables, essentially.
Yes.
And then what I would like to create is my understanding in the lecture from tidy data, rather than having 4 dummy variables, you should have 1 variable with 4 choices. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely right. Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
what I'm trying to think, so that's what I'm trying to think about, what approach. I mean, I tried to use, I've just really struggled with that. I've tried to use, so what I did is I hacked my way through it by doing basically subsetting data.
All right.
By using 4 queries, and that worked, but I just thought that seemed kind of a mess, to be honest.
There you go. Yeah.
So basically, I created a subset data set for each of the 4 variables, and then I put them together.
Okay, that's one way to do it. Now you have. It's been a long time since I did this one, but I think that that these classifications for the dogs are taken from the tweet itself. So in that way, you can query the text of the tweet, and you can take the classification out of each text. So let me show you how I did it, and it will give you an idea.
Okay.
Wrangle Act, I think is the one. But you absolutely nail it with the that you need to get rid of the dummy variables, and you need to come up with just one to make it okay, to solve that quality issue. Where is that? Okay. Yeah, for tidiness. Okay, where is it? Okay, so this is my project. It says create a new column labeled doc stage. Look for the doc stage in the appropriate columns. Finally, drop the columns for doggo, fluffer, popper, pooper, which is basically what you're trying to.
Right.
Okay, so here what I did first is I created the column, and after I created the column, I'm using regex right here. It says clean. Well, I'm working with this clean data frame, and basically I'm accessing the text from the tweet, and I'm using regex. So I'm using this string extract, and I'm writing this. So every time it finds the word doggo, fluffer, popper, or poopo, it extracts it from the.
Oh, okay. Let
Okay.
me look at that. So extract.
Yes, this is called regex, which is I'm sure you have heard of it. Regular expressions. So basically, it says go through this text, and if you find the word doggo, extract it. Or if you find the word fluffer, or if you find the word popper, or if you find the word poopo. So what I'm doing, I'm populating the doc stage on each tweet, depending on what I find on each tweet. If I find the word doggo for that particular row, I'm going to write the word doggo here in my doc stage column. But if I find the word fluffer, I'm going to write that instead.
And right there when it has the the braces with the little d and big D, that means you can use either one?
Yes, you can use, yes, uppercase or lowercase.
Huh. And then that's just or.
Yes, this one's or.
Huh. That's fascinating.
Yeah, that was the hardest for me coming up with. Actually, I didn't come up with that solution because it was more sophisticated than what I was used to. But I loved it. I loved it. I think it's really, really clean. It's just one line of code, and it works amazingly.
Yeah, I have like 12 lines, I think.
Yeah. And after what I just did, I just dropped the columns for the dummy variables.
Right. And then dog labels. Drop. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And actually, I used it again to extract the dog names, I think. I think I did. Yeah, right here. Extract dog name from text.
Mm-hmm.
From the say tweet. This one was a lot harder. So I found out, like I was watching the different tweets, and it always started, or at some point of the tweet it said, "This is," or "Meet my dog." So I was saying, okay, look for this phrase, "This is," or "Meet," and then extract whatever is after that phrase.
Right. Very
And
cool.
and it worked. So that was cool because I got like this list of names, and then I was like, I came up with, oh, the most popular name was Oliver, and I mean, it's just kind of a cool detail. So I think those are the two instances where I use the regex.
Well, that's okay. That's cool. That's way cool. Okay. Now, in general, if I want to, let's say I have two variables.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to create a third variable depending on those two variables in general. In general, how's the easiest way? I mean, is there kind of a straightforward way to do that? I mean, in my mind, you would go, if A is greater than 20 and if B is less than 100, then this new variable is equal to 1, something like that. But
it depends. Like what specifically you're talking about? Is it a numerical value, categorical value? What sort of values?
Well, I was thinking either way. So let's say you had two numerical values.
All right.
And you're trying to create a categorical variable from that, right?
Okay. Yeah, maybe I would apply lambda. Just the apply lambda x, and then if, as you said, if x greater than a certain number, and then I would just name it that way.
Okay.
And then, or else, and then name it the other way. I think that's a pretty good approach.
Yeah. Can I look at that regular expression again to see if I can understand like the steps?
Yes, for sure. I'm not even sure if I remember like each tiny detail, but you can download a cheat code, cheat sheet.
It's called regex.
Yes, just to help you regex.
Regex cheat sheet. Okay.
Because I think this particular question mark was that it can have some blank space before it. So it can either be the beginning of the text string, or it can have some kind of blank space before it. But I don't quite remember. And then this one is basically some space. This one is a space as well. And this is the or that you were saying. And oh no, I think either this question mark or the colon means that don't extract this part. This particular, I don't want you to extract it. I just want you to be aware, to look for it, And after you have found it, do not extract it, but do extract this one.
Oh, I got it.
Mm-hmm. And then this one just means that it can be any letter, uppercase or lowercase, and this it can be any letter, uppercase or lowercase, and as many times as long as you don't find a blank space.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All right. And so another thing is when you're applying, I'm a little confused about when you can apply functions. Like, you know, there's three functions like title or upper or lower. So let's say, for example, I have a variable.
Okay.
And I want to make all the letters lowercase letters.
Okay.
So I thought it was just a matter of case where here, I would think it was. So I thought you would just, you know, have something like that, right?
Let me make that bigger.
That, okay.
All right. Div var name dot lower. Okay, and then did that not work?
Is that?
I mean, that's one way to do it for sure. Yeah, because it should apply that function to each row on that column.
Any reason why that wouldn't work? Or?
No, for lower particular, I think I don't quite remember, but there some of those functions usually they return an object. They do not transform the object itself. So, for example,
Okay.
let's say, and I'm not sure about lower specifically, but sometimes that one lower, what it does is, let's say I have a variable. Let me open a text editor. Or here notes is fine. Whoa. Okay. So, for example, let's say I have a variable. Let's just call it A. And this A, it's equal to a word apple, right? Apple. And let's say that I apply a certain function to it. Let's say like lower, for example. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what lower is going to do, it's going to return the word apple in lowercase. Okay. But A would still be referring to the word apple, as if nothing has changed. What I need to do is I need to refer this like this, because what this is doing is basically returning A, applying this function, but if I don't refer it back to the original variable, this one is still going to point to this uppercase. So that might be it.
Oh, okay.
That's why we usually prefer to use the dot apply, because in that way you're making sure that everything you're applying to each variable, it's actually transforming the variable itself.
What does apply? I mean, I'm not. How does that work?
Here, what you do with apply, basically, you do the same. For example, here you have a column name. So, and here in apply, basically, you put here the function that you want to. It can be any function, and it's going to apply that function to each value of the column.
So it's apply. So you'd have the data frame, the variable name, and then apply.
Yes, and here inside the apply, you can put in any function that you like.
And then you, for example, lower.
For example, lower, and it's going to apply it to all, to each and every row in that column.
Oh, okay, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Good.
And I can send you an article that has examples and everything.
Great. And then I had a little question about, like, just in general tidiness when they're talking about tidiness of data sets. So, for example, one thing I could do with the data sets, I could just merge them all together and get a large data set, right?
Okay.
But at least when I'm working with SQL, it seems like what they like to do is have a lot of distinct data sets that are connected with the key, right?
Mhm.
Is that generally considered better form, or is that more in SQL than in Python? Or
That's a really good question. Um, yes, because with SQL, what you really want to avoid is um, repeating yourself.
right, right,
That's really what you want to avoid. In the data frame, mm, I mean, if you can work with just one data frame, it would be better to have all the data that is related.
one, yeah,
Uh, yeah, not sure how to answer this one.
okay,
I think it depends on the end goal. Um, because, for example, if the data is super related and you're going to end up processing it, I don't know, with visualizations or maybe using Tableau, you definitely would like to use one data frame because it's going to be easier to come up with the visualizations, to come up with with the with the Tableau visualizations, for example. Um, but for SQL, if you're designing the database, you definitely want it separately because you don't want because with SQL you don't want to repeat yourself every time you're updating the
right, right,
tables.
right. I see.
Yeah. And with the data from you usually don't update it that often. You do it once, you wrangle it and you come up with the visualizations or whatever you're going to do, and that's that. But with SQL, since you need to update it, that's why I think you should.
Okay, that makes sense. So another question I have is, what's the easiest? I've been able to do it a couple of different ways, but what's the kind of the easiest way to like either choose columns or drop columns? Right. So
Uh,
a lot of columns. Is there? It seems like there's a lot of different ways you could do this.
yeah, there are a lot of these
And I
different
just thought,
ways.
is one way easier or?
The one that I use the most, let me show it to you, is where is it? I think it's here. I think they just the dot drop works
Drop. Okay.
great. Yes, I just writing if you're going to drop a lot of columns, I would definitely write the labels of those like this, like here.
Uh-huh. And then, oh, I see. Okay.
Yes, if you're going to drop a lot of columns, and then just here here's an example of what I was saying. For example, here, this is the df clean, and this is df clean. So if I were to do this, oh, I cannot erase it. But if I were to just write this part over here without the equal sign,
Uh-huh.
df clean dot draw dot labels, these wouldn't do anything to the df clean because this returns a new data frame that doesn't have these labels. So I need to refer the df clean. I need to link it to this line of code. I don't know if that if I'm.
Yeah, no, that made perfect sense. And if instead of dropping them, I wanted to keep them,
Mhm.
would I just have the name of the data frame equal to the name of the data frame, and then the brackets with the ones I want to keep?
Oh yeah, for sure. You can do that, or you can do a query, for example. Yes, for sure. You can do the.
Oh, you can do a query on columns instead of rows?
Yes, for sure.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird. And how do you distinct? Is there an option that tells you that it's columns and not rows?
Yes, the axis one.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, because I use query a lot, but always for rows.
Yeah, you can use that for columns too.
And which one would be, so axis equals one would be columns.
Yeah, one of those two. I mean, you have to play with it. It varies sometimes, but yeah, the 0 is either rows or columns, and 1 is the other one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's fair. Well, that's been helpful. Yeah, that's great. Okay.
You can use also the iLog to query certain columns. What else can you use?
And iLock with the name. One of them's with the name and one's with the number, right?
iLog is with the index. I is for index, so that's with the numbers.
Okay.
And
I
lock
don't know how that works. How does iLock work?
Basically, you just depending on the row number or the column number, you just deal with that number, and you can fit it with indexes. So I want to keep from column 0 all the way to column 15. So that's 0 column 15, and it will keep those rows.
Okay.
Or those columns. Sorry.
Good. Okay.
All right.
That's been very helpful. Thank you.
No problem. Let's move on to the last questions. So what can I help you with today was more questions about the dummy variables, questions about queries, some questions about
regex. I didn't realize about that.
that was good. Great. Okay, and I'm going to write etc. Great. And do you feel like you can move forward now?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely great. Great. And here's what I will follow up. I'm going to ask about the project you submit, and because you're submitting it before the month ends. And I'm going to send you the apply function article.
Thank you.
To look at it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Right. Well, I sure appreciate all your help.
No, glad to help. Super proud of what you've been doing, turning all these projects. It's really impressive.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for your help.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.